I'm very pleased that you are on Crosstalks, and please introduce yourself and your background.
So my name is Valerie Riffaud Cangelosi. I've been working in the augmented reality area since 2011, when back then the company I was working for decided to release smart glasses based on technologies they owned. So they were binocular see-through smart glasses and really aimed at achieving augmented reality solutions. It was really interesting because back then in 2011, hardly nothing was truly existing. So that was a real adventure. And with my team, we developed during 10 years an ecosystem around those smart glasses. So meeting solution provider, developers, but as well integrators, finding resellers for the European market. So that was a real adventure, a real challenge, but I grew my knowledge about all these ecosystems, seeing so many developers, creating very innovative stuff. And I fell in love with the technology actually. So 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to be, on one hand, material agnostic, but as well really helping companies to deploy all these solutions because the market is really fragmented and still they are seeking for the best solution and the best hardware. So I thought I wanted to dedicate my entire business life to help companies of all sizes. And I launched my consulting company. So now ReapseConsulting is helping companies and really trying to help them understanding the use cases, what they can do with it, what are the benefits, and what kind of value they can get from augmented reality solutions.
So in your experience, if you say in numbers or in percentage, how much knowledgeable are these brands coming to you?
So if they spontaneously come to me, that means they are pretty knowledgeable. But most of the case, I try to be proactive. So I do a lot of conferences and meetings, get together in different sectors directly to either the industrial, the healthcare sector, the retail, which are usually the branches I'm trying to work on and focus on. And of course, culture and tourism, which is really quite advanced in using those technologies. But I'm really trying to go to them to try to pitch them because there is a kind of, I think, misunderstanding about immersive technologies in general. It's a gimmick, it's for game, it's just really fun, but it doesn't have a real kind of validity or usability for the company. So that's really what we have to do.
What can you say to those who are not leveraging it yet?
So I think it's important to select the right application and use cases. Of course, basically, you could achieve pretty much anything. It's kind of adding digital information on your real world. So you talk to anyone, being an individual or company, they come up with an unbelievable good idea, which is technically maybe a little bit difficult to achieve, or that might take, some R&D and, starting from scratch. So my focus is really what is on the shelf right now and could be pretty much used out of the box. So it could be for the industry, for example, remote assistance. Very easy, quite light augmented reality functionalities, but still, having a real kind of usability for the companies using it and relatively cheap, which is another, I think, misunderstanding of our technology. They always think it's super expensive. And actually, there are solutions out there, and more because the developers and the solution companies figure out as well that having a SaaS model with out-of-the-box solutions are extremely easy to use is going to be the breakthrough.
But still, if you don't know what questions to answer before you start leveraging augmented reality, it's kind of hard with or without human resources just to do it. What is the main questions you want to be answered before you pitch to the company?
What are your problems? Not anything related to augmented reality. What's your current difficulties in your industry? They all have really concrete difficulties that have nothing to do with technology. And technologies are supposed to solve them, not only AR or everything. Technology is meant to solve problems. So that's usually what I'm trying to understand.
How hard is just to provide some ideas to your clients after you leverage all their problems?
It's not so difficult if we have something on hand that fits the problem. We can't solve all problems
in one shot.
You know, so that's the challenge. And I really don't want to sell dreams. I think it has been a problem in this, sector for some time at the early stage. We were showing whales appearing in the middle of stadiums, and people thought, wow, we could do pretty much anything. But actually, this is really not the point. The point is, you have an issue. I may have the technology that will solve the issue, or maybe not. It's not like we can do anything. So I think it's important as well. If they just explain the all the difficulties and complexities they are facing, and there is something that could match or that could help them, fine. If they don't, sorry, I can't, and I move on. Or I can reintroduce to someone else working in AI, cybersecurity, durability, whatever.
And then to understand, like, how long does this process is going on? Like, starting from the scratch, ideation phase, creation, and then promotion. Are you also including yourself in promotion process, and are you advising them?
Yeah. So a big part of my job is auditing the company, trying to understand how it works, what are their internal processes, and writing down the related information to make sure there is something that is kind of formatted and very clear. And then based on that, I'm starting just searching the best solution on the market. So hardware, why? Because in AR, we have the chance to have a smartphone or tablet or smart glasses, how they want to manage, but at least they are aware, of what exists on the market. And then based on the hardware, they are selecting solutions that are optimized for the hardware. And I'm scouting all the time companies across Europe. Now I have more than 500 being qualified, because this is what I do. It's just what I've been doing for 10 years. And I'm pretty sure, and I'm sure there is one company that will fit their expectation. But I usually always propose 2 or 3 of them so that they really can benchmark their own. And relationship is important as well with the company, how they can work together. All these are as well very important points, because at the very end, what matters for me is that they use the technology every day for years. It can't be a gimmick. It's supposed to help them. They are supposed to save money or time or efficiency, whatever. So it's supposed to be a process on the long haul, not the POC or just once again a one-off.
Yeah. So if we are talking about the marketing direction, so who is the best people you to talk with from the company?
In the marketing, it's really anyone that could be in the marketing group, because sometimes they may be more on the social media side. Sometimes it's really marketing, like anything related to the promotion that might be still today paper-based. There are still a lot of things that are done the old way, and it's just how they want to move on. So it's the different profile in the marketing department. With our technology, I think it's important as well to get other bodies in the company being involved, not for example, IT department. They can't be out of the process. That's really important, that it becomes an integration and not a project aside, because project aside doesn't last. And And that's something we discuss a lot at the beginning, making sure it becomes a daily tool that they might use eventually forever, because the tool as well get upgraded, evolve, becomes better, and can help the business as it evolves itself.
Yeah, so for 95% of people who don't have experience with augmented reality are starting from social media campaigns. And in this way, it's really easy then to imagine what can be done besides the social media and third-party platforms. But I'm also interested, like, how you leverage the first commerce to you. Like, do you directly go with the applications, or do you use web-based experiences? Which channel is more appropriate for you to work with?
So it depends how knowledgeable the people are. If they are coming from very far, never heard, the technology or whatever, it could be very simple application. It's how it could be a makeup application, or it could be a Snapchat filter, or a try-on application for a pair of shoes, understanding at least what is augmented reality in the marketing environment somehow, and how it can be related to product promotion as well,
Yep.
So it depends the kind of product. It could be product placement for furniture. It could be, the good thing is now there are tons out there of kind of free application you can kind of easily demonstrate without trying to bias as well what they're gonna expect for the future. Because at the end, they really have to create something for themselves. And especially in the marketing segment, which might be as true for industry, is that you need to trigger some creativity as well. Because as time passes by, all those marketing kind of experience might look alike. And even if they are AR, which is still a kind of breakthrough, if you did 10 that are just, all the same, in the same kind of spirit and everything, I think we might just, come to an end of this kind of promotion. So it's important that all this experience and are different. And that comes from the creativity of the company itself. It's not me, it's not even, of course, the solution provider, the developers might have some kind of idea, but at the end, it's a kind of, brainstorming, but they have to come up with something that belongs to them, It's really core in their sector and in their company.
Retail is really active in this sector, but besides try-on campaigns and straightforward sales campaigns, what type of experiences they could go through and they could leverage, and what type of benefits it's getting to them?
I think at first, it's important that they go for simple stuff. So first, of course, there are a lot of large companies that have, embraced the technology and try to do very kind of emphasize the experience using very high-end products, the luxury sector, for example. But I think there are tons of companies that might not be at the top level, but still kind of big companies with sometimes brand image problem as well, or, that are considered like very commercial and basic. They might just use a very simple web AR campaign by augmenting products or making some animation and promotion that they might do anyway, but in a very kind of old-fashioned way, and that they could bring slowly to this kind of experience for the customers. Because as you mentioned as well, the customer has to use them as well to be kind of motivated to do it, which is not like supernatural, especially when you are 50 plus or, and beside that as well, that you have your habit. So usually it has to be a kind of long-term thinking, but it doesn't have to be huge campaigns from early stage. There are those companies now in web marketing, web AR, doing small campaigns, relatively easy to set up, relatively inexpensive, but that can really help where those companies are, trying to put the focus. That means I have a product, it's in promotion for a week, and rather than making a sticker minus 20%, I'm going to do something much more interesting, interactive, immersive, whatever, but that's going to change, the way I'm doing this kind of promotion and change my brand image as well, just going to the next phase.
So how would you explain the process, like what they have to go through to deliver really effective, not just augmented reality effect or experience, but effective in sense of results for their objectives? What is
I think fundamentally, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's not a gimmick. It's a tool that is supposed to bring efficiency, whatever, time, money at the end of the day. So what I always recommend to all customers, whatever the sectors might be, is that they have to do the math at the beginning. What they are expecting to do. Is it promoting a specific product to expect plus 15% sales over 3 months? That's a benchmark. And they have to monitor. You need to put the kind of benchmark at the beginning. You have to understand what you want to achieve, and you have to monitor. So it's a little bit of extra work, which is even beyond just, paying for the license or whatever. Yep. It has to come along. It's not something you do for pleasure or for show off. You do that because you need this tool to change the way you work, the way you promote, the way you communicate with your users. And therefore, as any other tool and companies, and that's where it's funny because they are using many kind of tools internally, and they would never use it as a one-off, kind of show-off kind of tool. They use it every day. They obliged everyone to use it. They are monitoring what they do with it. They tend to warn the people that are not properly using the tools as, whatever it could be. They are part of the company management. And we have to just approach that the same way. Not that it's easy, but it's how it's meant to last. Because again, if they don't see the value, they will stop it, which makes a lot of sense. So I think the only way is to make sure at the beginning they have evaluated where they want to go, where they want to achieve, and at the end, they monitor what has been achieved. And then they can balance, what has been achieved. In marketing, sometimes we tend to, we're going to use this tool and let's try this one. And that's a bit complicated because then you can't really check the value.
Yeah, because marketing is ongoing process, and either you stick to one technology and you learn it very deeply just to know how to leverage it fully in 100%. Throughout your experience, I think that you would have some like funny stories or like challenges you had with the clients. Like, what was the most challenging thing and at which stage?
The users are using actual material, and we lend the material or we provide the material to them as either end user in a museum or, in the field. There were two things that really struck me. Once was you need connection. You need connectivity. And that can happen as well in marketing, just you go in a store, you want to do a super kind of experience, and then you find out that finally the coverage is so-so and the image is jiggering. And so connectivity is really, really important for us. Of course, there are a lot of stuff you can do as well locally, but it requires applications, and in some sectors they prefer web AR, which make a lot of sense. So yeah, it's something. Or when you have a technician that you need to help in the field and he's in the middle of nowhere, and you find that he needs help, but actually there's no connection at all, no 5G, no Wi-Fi, nothing. Then the whole process, as perfect as it can be and built up, is at work. So that's something I experienced several times. So now I know it's something I always carefully check, how we can overcome that. And there are ways, obviously, but you have to think about it. And the other thing as well is that sometimes, and especially in the past, but it still happens, it's a department which is creating the product. And they do a lot of things standalone, There's a project manager in a specific department and they build the project. And when they are a little bit advanced, they start only to involve the rest of the company. So the users that might be involved very late in the process, which is really not really helping, to have a really functional process at the end. So for me, they need to be involved at a very early stage from day one, because they are absolutely key, especially when there are smart glasses involved as well. There are kind of adoption of the material and everything. But as well, the other bodies of the companies, like as I mentioned earlier, HR, there might be, concern that people are using technologies that they don't know how it impacts their well-being and whatever. Might it be on a smartphone, or smart glasses or whatever, but, this is important. And obviously IT as well, There's so many cases where I saw IT being involved so late in the process that they made it fail.
Yep.
Because they said that it was not possible to integrate. If they knew it earlier, they would have explained what was necessary. And our solutions now, whatever solutions, you can just create whatever is necessary to link to internal process, or the logistic, the WMS or SAP or whatever you have in your company. They know, and they can provide APIs most of the time free of charge. And they can help you as well at first build and create the connectors. So yeah, that's always something that really, made me think now and make me operate now in a way that I never forget those. It's just recommending that, and I ask that at my meetings, initiate the meetings, and before doing the audit, everybody is around the table. Everybody has a good understanding of what we're talking about. And usually it creates a much smoother process overall.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's very crucial. In your experience, I'm also interested, like, what has been done like differently? Because you mentioned that some companies are doing the same and they are copy pasting each other. What was your favorite experience that your partner developers had done?
My favorite experience are not ones that I worked on personally, but that I encountered lately. Because it's what I feel we are really lacking is the B2B2C experiences that can create the kind of understanding of our technologies high way. And I think even if it's not kind of the way we would like to have it, because ideally we would like to have a ChatGPT, XR GPT, whatever. Something that would be very hype at once, but that the whole public could embrace. Now we have experience that are here and there that people are confronting to augmented reality. Sometimes they use it. They never say it's augmented reality, like a filter, or, they don't link it, but we need this kind of advertisement, communication, visibility. And what I find the most appealing right now is everything which is done in museum or touristic sites, because it's mixing the wow experience with the usage of the materials and applications, and people are really kind of remembering their activity. Yep. And I discovered that because most of my friends and relatives, the first time usually they talk about AR, and because they say, oh, I visited this castle, I was given a tablet, I could see, all the life and everything. That's what you do as a work. And I think, yeah, that's you got it. And most of the time, it's this kind of experience. And I I encountered a few that I experimented myself that were really good, really, really compelling, really straight to the point, you know. Of course, the content was good, but the storytelling was good, you know, and the experience was the kind you remember. And therefore, I really like this kind of approach. Like you have a museum in Paris which is doing that. It's for animals that have been, you know, kind of dead for millions of years. And with the headset, you can just see the animals again being live. So you are explain all through your path how they were in the past, why they disappeared, and suddenly we see them appearing in the room and in a various way. And that's very, very good. And what's interesting as well is that for the museum, it has an interest as well financially. There is an ROI. So you can mix fun and, you know, being appealing and still having. So this room was poorly attended because nobody wants to see dead animals for a million years you have never seen, you will never see in your life. So they were trying to attract people, you know, to this particular area. And they decided they wouldn't make people pay to enter this particular area to get this very special experience. So the entrance of the museum is free, but this particular area you have to pay for it. And they are full all the time, you know, and they make, because, you know, asking for money as well is something that is making in itself some traction. The experience is very good. People talk about it, and it's a kind of virtuous circle.
Yeah, but sometimes companies consider augmented reality nice to have technology, not an urgent stuff. So sometimes when they compare like how they are doing their own marketing right now and how they can do, they still choose and stick to the old-fashioned ways. But what would you say to those people who just don't understand the value of augmented reality and they just assume it's fun, it's just like nice to have, but it's not urgent for them just to dive into this direction?
But once again, I would focus on a problem they can't solve. Exactly like the museum, you know, empty rooms, nobody go there. They have to find all the. If it's just transforming their whole marketing into an AR-based experience, I think it has no value. And anyway, I couldn't prove it because obviously it's not something you can really guarantee, you know. Maybe it would work, but obviously now
Everything.
exactly. So the fact is that they may have a particular issue in promoting something or having a very kind of dumb product that doesn't sell, or, you know, having a kind of new strategy in communication that doesn't work the way they are using the old-fashioned way. So it's really saying, okay, we're gonna make this particular segment being promoted through AR. Let's work something very creative and breakthrough together using this web AR platform, for example, and let's monitor how it works better. Than anyway, you are doing nothing for now, so it can't be worse, and the risk is relatively limited because there is a huge chance that they will do better with AR anyway.
Yeah, there is. But like, if they are not on the point that nothing is working for them, they are not doing it. So recently we had this experience with our creator. There was one construction company. They had this specific problem in sales process. So their sales cycle was prolonging for 2 months, 3 months, and the main problem was that the customers were not going to other direction to see the property. And but at the end of the day, because of the budget, they didn't choose web AR experiences, which was slightly higher than social media campaign. So they stick to the social media campaign, and they just made for brand awareness face filter. So it was kind of like really sad for us because they had this specific problem, but they were not just, the decision was not made into this direction, which could make their sales process like twice, 3 times, 4 times higher in time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that can happen, and the miracle is when you have in your past experience someone who did something, so another company who did it, and you can prove, because it's normal as well. Most of the companies we are meeting every day, they want proof. And
Yeah.
the only proof we can provide is past experience of other customers. So I pick customers that might not be my customers. It could be the one that I met through different conferences, or they talk about what they have achieved. Usually the customers who have a very good experience with AR, they're always happy to talk about it.
Yep.
So it's just trying to put them in touch and trying to search among all the guys you might have found someone who could just prove your point. I agree, it's not always possible because the programs are sometimes so specific and so vertical that you might not have the proof that it could be done. And yeah, I mean, we don't win all the time either, which is part of the challenge, but it's always good to have a way to pitch it, because maybe this company in 2 years using the same process and finding out nothing has moved may come back.
Yeah, true. And that's why I think that every company needs a specific direction into their company, like someone who understands how immersive technologies work. At least one person.
Yeah.
Just, as they have copywriters, as they have advertisers, as they have some other people in their niche, these technologies do need their ambassadors internally in the companies as well.
Yeah, it helps. It helps.
So it's really interesting that you have so much experience starting from 2011. It's huge. So you might also understand the future somehow, because like history repeats itself and you have the logic how it will work out, maybe in 5, maybe in 10 years. It's really interesting, your point of view, how augmented reality can evolve.
So I took the decision a few years ago now to create my own company dedicated on AR. So that means I have a really, really strong trust that AR is going to be the future, definitely. Really, really specialized. The reason why I'm so convinced is that I think adding digital image on the reality is just accessible to everyone. There is no barrier. Like VR sometimes can be a little bit tricky, immersive, close to the world, loneliness, as mentioned. So there are a lot of things that make that it could be a little bit complex for the whole population to adapt it. But AR is just so simple, and the materials as well. You can use your smartphone, your tablet, smart glasses. They're all full package of different hardware. So I don't see any kind of barriers that would make that in a very smooth way, even if it takes some time, like in a kind of technology adoptions, to just come up and become something kind of usual in people's life. So it's just how much time it's gonna take, and I think we are in a world where we think adoption is like, should happen overnight. I think most of the technology in the past have proven that it takes ages just to really go through. And we are working on very different kind of sectors as well, on many kind of applications that are really different. So we have taken as an ecosystem the challenge to try everywhere where there was a kind of need to develop something. So we are in the healthcare, we are in the marketing, in the industry, we are in the culture. So that means it's a lot, kind of use cases to develop and to promote and to communicate. So I'm not surprised, that it takes time. Of course, when you work on a daily basis, sometimes you are doing that accelerate and you would like to rush that. But you can't rush the adoption, It's better to have a few customers super happy about the fact that they use it and talk in a very positive way, rather than having a bunch of customers that have just used it once and talk about it
Yeah, as it is on every hyped keyword, as it happened
Absolutely.
last year on NFTs, for
Yeah,
example. Yeah.
exactly. Anything that is hype is not helping. And that's where it's difficult for us because we are not hype anymore. We are just a usual daily tool meant and helping companies or end users to enhance their experience. And that's where it's more complicated. But I think we have a very bright future. And one leverage is as well the smart glasses. The more smart glasses we're going to have, the better, because obviously AI is much better hands-free. And, having the smartphone, holding the smartphone, I think for the marketing experience, it kind of works if you have a few minutes, usage of the experience. But even visiting a museum, and holding the tablet for
Not always
for
coffee.
an hour, even in various ways, it's not really practical. So the glasses are gonna really help developing those kind of use cases, and yeah, I think that they are coming products. I can see more and more products actually. Um, it could be totally kind of integrated glasses with all the sensors and everything, but it can be lighter glasses with a communication with the smartphone and the intelligence remain in the smartphone. It could be many, many ways of developing binocular or monocular see-through glasses. It could be actual see-through glasses, or it can be video pass-through. So there are different kind of glasses that would just meet different kind of use cases. But once again, the more glasses on the market, the better for the future of AR.
So what is the situation on the glass market today?
So on the glass market, we have a few products now. I think we meet most of the requirements of the industry because they are kind of small, light products, but that are still durable for this kind of market up to, big products with helmet and ATEX certification for dangerous environments. So we start to have a range. And there are a couple of products as well that meet the culture and the tourism environment that can work as well. So it's just we need products that are a little bit lighter and smaller and cable free, that could just be more streamlined for kind of any application, that doesn't require very specific uh, specifications or certifications. So I can see that there are more and more optics out there, more and more technologies in terms of lenses, and they are using different kind of technologies. So they position themselves, and that means eventually the manufacturer, the brands that want to launch their own glasses, they might have more choices, of different optics, so that they make their own strategy around those products. So it's very important that there is a choice so that they can come up with product. But it's still a challenge doing see-through glasses because of the weight, the size, the cable-free, the battery, the Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and all sensors being embedded.
Other technologies are not that sophisticated yet, just to help the technology.
Yeah, and there are as well little brands, not so many brands, taking the challenge as well to try. And that's where, when you see Apple, they have pushed back, the launch of the glasses because they don't take the risk, while more brands take the risk, more brands are successful, and they can just, create a kind of dynamic that push others to do it, and we don't have this kind of launch and initial. So fortunately, Microsoft did it, and whatever you might think about the product, it's important that those big brands as well get there. But I think more and more products now are more XR type of helmet, so VR headset And then you can have video see-through capability, and they change into video see-through AR. So that's more the direction of most manufacturers because it's easier to develop and manufacture. It's not ideal, but it will create new use cases as well. So it will enlarge our capabilities and our opportunities. Okay. So yeah, I think that there are things happening, and I think Meta as well is working on it, and Apple is working on it. So that means it will eventually come up as well with having more consumer oriented type of product. But in the business side, I think they don't give up and they keep releasing kind of interesting products. So kind of vertical for the surgery, or vertical for people with disabilities, and we have as well a product coming up from France, called Link, which is the first kind of glasses with a VR binocular with a video see-through, but super slim and at around 700 euros, so quite affordable for this kind of model. So that's super good as well, and very optimistic because that means there are potentially other products coming up.
I also want to discuss with you artificial intelligence, AI hype around. So we see a lot of products in every direction. Like with marketing, we have a lot of platforms like text to image, text to 3D, text to video, text to artificial avatars even. But what we don't see is text to augmented reality. So what do you think, like, what is the main challenge doing this kind of opportunities?
I think AI has been here for a long time. It's a little bit like I saw a lot of similarity between VR, and metaverse and all this stuff, because it's just suddenly it became hype, but actually it has been around for a long, long time. And actually most of the companies that were using some kind of AI in their application and everything. And it's just probably because it became a little bit hype, there will be some kind of acceleration and adoption, of the AI platform. Some companies that might not never considered introducing them in their solution will at a faster rate, or Google is creating their own BARB system. And, it's just made a kind of accelerator, but it's not something really new. I think the developer of AR solutions have always considered some kind of AI in their application, but I think and I hope they will keep doing it in a kind of clever way. That means AI has to sell AR solutions, and the way it's going to benefit the customer. Introducing AI will increase the price of the whole solution, so the benefits must be higher. And I don't see any kind of technical barrier, really. I think it's much more how strategically it's worth having some kind of AI being added in the AR solution, and especially in a way, once again, that is bringing value, so that to an extent where it's really creating new ways of new content, or in a kind of more automated way. But it's a little bit like when you want to create a 3D overlay of something, and you have a bunch of products. If you want to create really a good application, you need to have a 3D overlay or 3D model of all your products. If it's just to have one 3D product, doesn't work. You have to have the CAD data of all your products. And most of the time we face company, they may not have it available. So it's a lot of work creating the overall kind of 3D data of all the products in the portfolio. In AI, it's the same. If it's just to do one tiny bit of AI on one aspect of the application, it might have an interest that is extremely limited. AI will have to be all across the application and create, kind of additional content at all level of the application. And then again, for the benefit of the client, maybe in most cases, they don't even need that at this stage for AI. So I think in the R&D part, it's very important that they study it, that they really understand it. And I think most of them now, especially after all these hype times, are really just thinking about it. But I think it's like a little bit the metaverse. We shouldn't overuse the concept saying, oh, AI is integrated for the customer to find out that it has been increased by 20% and the value has been increased by 0.
Well said. Valerie, it was really interesting talking to you. Our time is getting at the end of our talk. I think that we could always have this kind of interesting discussions for future. If you have any interesting project, we can always discuss on the Crosstalks, of course. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for highlighting all the crucial aspects that customers need to know before they leverage augmented reality. And for the last words, if you want to say something to the future or potential customers, please do.
Please try it. I can guarantee AR is going to change your business life.
Yeah. Simple as that.